Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here, and today, guys, we are going to play the Vampire Counts against Bretonnia. So we're actually going to get Manfred von Karstein. We're going to go ahead and get Spirit Leech. I'm just going to give it a try, because again, he does have the Master of the Black Arts, as well as the Sword of Unholy Power, which gives him pretty huge regeneration. So we're going to see how it works out. Again, haven't really experimented with it much, but this is going to be the first game in which I do. So do we want to get Winds of Death? I don't know. Winds of Death could be really fun against Bretonnia, and maybe we can get away with it. So let's give it a try. So we have the Sword of Unholy Power, going really, really wide on that right now. But again, we'll see how it works out. So aside from that, we're going to get some Graveguard for the front line. They do pretty well against like Bretonian infantry. We're also going to get... I feel like a Mortis engine's not a terrible pick. So let's just get a standard Mortis engine. We're just going to go a little bit on the cheaper end of things. Top of that, I do want some Blood Knights as well as the Dire Pack. And what else do I want? Some Cryptors actually aren't terrible because they can do, somewhat decent work against like Foot Squires and things like that. They won't like thrive against like battle pilgrims, but we'll give them a try and see how it works out. So we're actually going to get a second vampire. We're going to put her on a mount. We're going to just get Spirit Leech with her. So we're going to see if we can be really aggressive with the Spirit Leech. And on that note, we should probably honestly cut the Winds of Death. We'll try it another game, but again, I probably need to practice a little bit more with it. So she does have all these goodies here. I honestly should probably look across that and make sure we're squared away on that front. But we probably want to get just a second group of Cryptors is probably fine. And you know what? Let's see how it goes. So the double Cryptors would probably be my main criticism of this game. Because again, I kind of just panicked there at the last second because, the timer was ticking. But, they can be okay. If he does decide to get like a bunch of peasant bowmen with fire arrows, that's going to be a little bit tricky. Like he can take out down our Mortis engine as well as our Cryptors pretty effectively. And, but I'm really putting a lot of marbles on the regeneration from, from Manfred. Because we do have the double vampire. We have Manfred as well as a vampire caster. So we're hoping to really aggressively like Spirit Leech his Lord, whatever it is, or maybe even his casters. And with the Sword of Unholy Power, when he's engaged in melee, he actually like drains their Winds of Magic pretty aggressively. So, not drains, excuse me, generates it. So, we're going to put these guys in the front line. So, again, this is like somewhat similar to most of my Vampire Count builds, but it's a little bit different actually. So, again, we're trying Manfred out, we're trying the dual Vampire. We're going to see how effective Spirit Leech is against New Bretonnia. Like, I feel like my other build is pretty, not my other build, but the Red Duke and the traditional kind of competitive Vampire build is pretty good against these guys, but we're going to give it a try and see if we can change things up a little bit. So Manfred, we actually want like in the front line. We want him kind of having a good time and partying. And this Vampire Lady can actually go with my elite units here. So we're going to put these guys in the back, the Cryptors, and we're going to put them a little further back than we usually do. Let's go ahead and queue them up here, get these guys ready. So yeah, we just have Spirit Leech. We do have the Mortal Will, which gives them pretty big self-heal. And Manfred, we also do have the Master of the Black Arts. So Master of the Black Arts in conjunction with the Sword of Unholy Power. So basically, when he's engaged in melee with the Sword of Unholy Power, he's going to get a pretty big spike to his power reserves. Like, you'll see it. It'll just tank up really, really quickly here. So we're probably going to start off on the Spirit Leech spectrum here. So unfortunately, the Winds of Magic are somewhat low for starting, but, with Manfred, we shouldn't have any issues with the Master of the Black Arts and all those other goodies. So, wow, he didn't bring an Air Force. So a lot of Vampire players will catch you off guard with that. Not Vampire, excuse me, Bretonnia. They're going to... I always almost assume they're going to get Royal Pegasus Knight. So then, I put my guys on the ground as a result. So he has mostly Men-at-Arms with Polearms. He does have some Foot Squires, so the Cryptors are going to be a pretty good pick here. The Graveguard should cut through these guys no problem in the front line. And it looks like he indeed did go with like a bit of a Death Star style build. So that would be my one criticism in that, he doesn't have any missiles to pressure the Mortis engine. Like, I don't know how he's going to kill that. My Blood Knights in the back might get overwhelmed. Oh, with Vampirella? Yeah, I actually brought Death. Okay, I was gonna say because I was like, oh, I don't have Raised Dead on that, but that's a little unfortunate. But what does he have as his Lord? So it's kind of like hidden in here somewhere. So he has the Fey Enchantress, so we can actually nuke the Fey Enchantress. I'm totally fine with that. So we're gonna wait till our Winds of Magic are pretty high up there. We're gonna go ahead and put him in zombie summoning mode because that's something we'll probably be doing a little bit quicker. And it looks like he's spreading out his formation a little bit, which is something you see because he's bringing the Foot Squires to the front line. So what we're gonna do is engage like this. We're gonna engage these guys here, and then we're going to get the Cryptors and send them after the Foot Squires. That's literally like the perfect way to engage that. So the Spears we're going to detach here, we're going to detach here, we're going to get these guys kind of riding up. We're going to play a little bit defensively. We don't want to let our Mortis engine get isolated, but he looks like Grail Guardian, so they do have magic damage, which is useful in some Vampire Count circumstances. So looks like he's charging in here, so we're going to pull the Spears in here, we're going to pull the Spears in here, we're going to pull these guys back and center, and hopefully we can just like trap them up right now. So let's go ahead and summon some zombies right here, and the Mortis engine we want to pull back because it's going to take some serious damage. So we're going to push in here like so, and the Cryptors were able to kind of avoid that charge, and now we're going to re-engage them, and it should be pretty strong. So Manfred and the boys are engaged in the front line. We're going to summon some zombies right back here. We're going to go ahead and use the leadership and all those other goodies. And let's also use a Spirit Leech on the Fey Enchantress. So we're going to start working her down. I know she does have healing, but still, I think it's going to be okay. I think like she's pretty squishy and we should be able to work her down over the course of a battle. So we have Spears on horses, Cryptors fighting against armor. Pretty much everything is going to code there. So we're going to go ahead and pop a fat, juicy Spirit Leech right here, not Spirit Leech, excuse me, Invocation from the Hex. So we're going to switch here. We're going to check for his Lord. And where is she? Is she like hidden in here somewhere? I can't find that Fey Enchantress to save my life. So we're going to go ahead and Spirit Leech her again. And also, let's see if we can get Manfred on her. Like, Manfred can definitely lay the beating on her. So we're going to give him some more armor piercing. Actually, that probably wasn't a great idea. But anyways, we do have pretty good regeneration going on. So we're going to move these guys up as well. We just have a bit of a Death Star going on. The Blood Knights are, you know, fighting against the Grail Guardians and all kinds of goodies going on in there. So let's go ahead and switch to Lore of Vampires. And guys, check out my Winds of Magic. Isn't that's pretty crazy, right? Like, it's just always up when you use Manfred with that sword, and he's pretty tanky, so we're going to pull him back just to make sure he's safe. We get a nice zombie summon behind those Grail Guardians, which is going to be really, really strong, guys. So we're going to use another one behind these ones, just try and do the best we can there. So we're going to pull back our Blood Knights, and because, again, it looks like he's swarming pretty aggressively on the middle, so we want to, like, get them in the right spot. And let's push in these Cryptors here. These ones can push in here on these Foot Squires. We're going to reform ranks, and Manfred and the boys, let's go ahead and look at that Winds of Magic. It's pretty incredible. Like, it's funny because a lot of people are like, yeah, no, Red Duke is arguably one of the better lords because, again, El Sif is incredibly strong. So we're going to push these guys back into the center and just start fighting like fisticuffs in here. So Manfred, we're going to pull back. We're going to use the, what's it called? The Bloodlust here, which should be pretty good. And also, let's go ahead and check for Spirit Leech and see if the Fey Enchantress is in here. He gets a nice little common ability, nothing terribly devastating. And we're going to go ahead and Spirit Leech the Fey Enchantress again. So we get another Spirit Leech on her. She's going to start getting worn down. Looks like in the flanks, everything's going relatively to code. Our balance of power is very good. And he definitely went a little bit crunk in there with charging in those troops. So let's go over here and summon some zombies behind these guys because, again, they're not near the Grail Reliquae, so their leadership is going to be taxed. And our Vampire Lady, we're going to go ahead and use another Spirit Leech. So it looks like he's been having to pop the healing like right here, and he's trying to Death Star me, but Death Starring against Vampire counts is really tough because I do have Cryptors and a Mortis Engine providing healing, but they're actually pushing through if you look, believe it or not. So Manny's probably going to need to go ahead and use the Master of the Black Art. So let's go ahead and show you guys right now. So Manfred's right here. He's fighting. So it's 1 per 13 right now. So when we use Master of the Black Arts, it goes down to 1 to 6, which is pretty good. So we're going to summon more zombies here to kind of congest my opponent. We're going to push these guys up. We're going to get Vampirella in here fighting. And it looks like on the flanks, we're starting to like collapse my opponent pretty well, I would say. So let's get Manfred back in here, and I think, yeah, his Winds of Magic regeneration, it's depleted now. So let's see what happens when he goes back in. And look at that. So when he engages, guys, it goes to 1 to 8. So he starts to regenerate again with that sword. So he gets like a bunch of extra goodies. And, you know, the Spirit Leech wasn't terribly effective against the Fey Enchantress. Had it been like one of the more traditional lords, I think it would have been. So we're going to pull out here. We do have the Blood Knights kind of fighting. So let's pull the Blood Knights back and get like another big charge. And Manfred, I want to keep him fighting. But again, he is taking a bit of damage, which is making me a little bit nervous. So we're going to pull back here. We're going to get ready to re-engage, and we're going to charge in here like so. So good. So we get another little charge, and we do have some zombies kind of saturating our unit. So we're going to pull Manfred back. Oh, man, he needs to... I want him to keep generating the Winds of Magic, though. So over here, we're going to push these troops in here. We're going to form a bit of a Death Star, and you can see my opponent's actually trying to do that too as well. So, yeah, it's going okay. The Spirit Leeching, I don't think was, like, terribly effective. We probably could have done without it. And honestly, I'm really wishing I had brought, like, that Winds of Death right now. That would have been fun. So we do get the Blood Knights re-engaged. The Mortis Engine's in great shape, which is going to be a big issue for my opponent. That Grail Reliquae, though, is really, really strong in this pitched environment. These Cryptors, we want to get them out in the back. These ones are kind of engaged. They're engaged on appropriate targets, I would say. We definitely want to push them in there. So Manfred should have enough for another zombie summon right now. Or no, he's actually out. So let's just kind of keep him fighting on the wings and just kind of, you know, keep pulling him in and out. And we still have the Immortal Will on here, which is pretty cool. So these Cryptors get in. Let's see if we can find like a sweet spot for him. So we're looking in here. Let's go after this Paladin. And yeah, you can see my opponent's really Death Starring. So we're just going to both push in here, just going fisticuffs, just going wild. So let's go ahead and use this. And that puts us back up to 1 to 8. So even though we were like depleted, we're still putting up a, you know, a good fight in regards to the, what's it called? The magic. So yeah, 1 per 8, and if we can get up for like another Invocation from the Heck, that would be incredibly powerful. So the balance of power is still incredibly even. Having those like Grail Guardians in the front line with that like healing, that's actually pretty cool. So I haven't seen anybody like really try that. So let's go ahead and buff those guys up. Keep that Mortis Engine draining. It's going to be really, really important here. And we do get another Invocation from the Heck. So let's go ahead and just look for some like troops that are like in good binding. And these guys are pretty strong. We're going to keep them going. We're going to keep the Cryptors pushing in. Let's see if we can get that Grail Reliquae. That thing is so obnoxious. But a nice bombardment from my opponent. We still have Vampirella in here fighting. We're actually going to put her after the Grail Reliquae. And the Mortis Engine needs to like kite. We can't like let it just sit and, you know, take a beating. So we're going to go ahead and use the leadership to kind of buff up our troops. Let's pull this guy up and around here and just kind of keep going. And let's do it. Yeah, so you can see he's chasing it really, really aggressively. Let's get these Skeleton Spears pushing in here. We have to be really careful because we actually just pushed Manfred in a little more than we should have. So we're going to pull him out right now. And the Fey Enchantress is like working as a Mortis Engine too. So in this build, it's really funny. Like both of us are draining each other. It's very atrocious. I really like this guy's build. His name sounds so familiar for some reason too. So we're going to try and focus down this Grail Reliquae real quick, because if we can get rid of that, I think his whole army's just going to crack. But guys, Manfred is like the Lord of Magic. Like you honestly, I could have used Winds of Death here. So next time, just kind of my opinion is going to be scrap the Spirit Leech, I guess, in this matchup, because I think Fey Enchantress is the competitive pick. And, you know, then just try out Winds of Death or like those really big expensive abilities that you normally wouldn't bring. So Manfred's going to go after the Fey Enchantress now. I think that's a pretty good idea. We're going to get the Cryptors, and I think we can honestly just crack her real quick. And this Vampire can, yeah, looks like we killed the Grail Reliquary, so his leadership's going to start to tank pretty heavily here. And the Mortis Engine, we probably want to like pull it back and around here. Yeah, some of this stuff should get terrified, but it looks like the Fey Enchantress is incredibly low. She's taking so much damage, and what a close battle. But we do have Manny, we have the Immortal Will, and yeah, but this is so shady, guys. This is so incredibly shady, this fight here. It's just like, it's almost impossible to tell how it's going for me, but we still do have these Skeleton Spears. We have 36 of these guys, and yeah, he's trying to get that Mortis Engine, but I wish I had brought like the Claw of Nagash for that slow. But Manfred in here is pretty beast mode, guys. Like, he's not going to go quietly into the good night. So we're just going to keep kiting around, and now that that darn Grail Reliquary is gone, we're getting that Terror, and we're able to pull out that game. So what a wild battle. I know there wasn't like a ton of like kind of exterior stuff going on, but it was pretty fun, man. I really like his build. Yeah, I think I played against this guy before. He's a pretty good player. But that build worked. Yeah, so the Graveguard held up in the front line, but again, his Men-at-Arms performed pretty well, surprisingly. The Foot Squires, wow, 171 kills, but I think a lot of those were on zombies. But the Spears were helpful. The Cryptors were actually, it was really nice having 2 of those, because they were able to get through the armor of these Grail Guardians, as well as the Foot Squires. The Vampire with the Lure of Death, so I'm really excited to experiment with more Vampire count builds, but using Manfred, but instead of like using the Spirit Leech kind of nuking, and we probably should have honestly Spirit Leech maybe one of the Paladins or the Grail Reliquary or something, I don't know. But yeah, just using more expensive abilities and different Lords of Magic and kind of intermixing there, because you can get so much more bang for your buck with that, with the Sword of Unholy Power, as well as the Master of the Black Arts. So anyways, well played to my opponent, Fugly Pump. I look forward to seeing you again on Ladder, and hope you guys enjoyed that Manfred cast. Have an excellent night, and take care.